boys and girls. It just sets me a quiver. Fast and fun video brought to you by Sweetwater. In this case is a guitar that I've been asked about 1,000 times to talk about and to give my official opinion on. This is the Martin 0015 Streetmaster, the SM. Now, not to be confused with the other SM version of the 15, but let's open this thing up. Now, the first thing that I really love about this, because confession, this guitar has been here for a little bit and I've had a little bit of time with it, but this is the 0015M. The first thing I notice about this is it doesn't come with a hard case. That, for some people, that's a big ding, but have you seen how good gig bags are these days? I mean, it really is shocking to me how good they really can be. And so check this thing out. It is, hang on, I'm gonna lean this guitar just out of the way for a second, but this thing is so great, so comfortable, so squishy, so padded, and has a giant pouch up here to put all your stuff in for all kinds of activities, you know? For most people who ever buy this guitar, it's gonna be the first all solid wood guitar that they have owned. So anyway, that's the end of the gig bag, all that jump in, big squishy neck block. This thing, I mean, I think that hard cases are dying, and I kind of welcome the death of the hard case because they're a lot to store. They make your guitar double in space, and a gig bag fits in a closet a whole lot better and a whole lot friendlier than a hard case. Now, let's get to the guitar, but before we do, make sure you're subscribed. I'm Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter, and I want you to find the right guitars for you. I want to find the guitar that you want to grow old with, that makes your heart and soul happy and come to life. And every time you walk into a room, you see a guitar and you think, I'm just, okay, yeah, I can do that thing I was gonna do, but I need to stop and play this guitar for a minute. So this, finally revealed. This is the Martin 0015M Streetmaster. Now, there are many things you're gonna notice about this guitar. Number one, it's very dark. That's because it has a mahogany top, also has mahogany back and sides. So the first thing you'll notice on this guitar is the headstock with the Ivoroid tuners. This is a very cool version of a very familiar kind of guitar. Now, for most people, the Martin 15 series is where people tend to jump in. I know for me, in the summer of 2001, I mowed every single yard I could find in East Rockingham County so that I could buy a D15, which I still want to get. I want to buy an original D15. Now, the 15 series has always been marked by the mahogany top. And so this guitar is a very warm triple O shaped guitar. Now, it doesn't have a pick guard, and that's part of where usually my first guess on if a guitar is an OM or a triple O is the pick guard. Like the pick guard back here on that boxwood guitar, that's an OM pick guard. It's like a teardrop shape compared to, I don't have anything else back there to show you, compared to a normal or a more expected shape of a pick guard. So first, let's hear this guitar. Now, just out of frame down here, I have a Lawton Audio. This is an excellent small diaphragm condenser. I have a Lawton Audio LA120 that's just gonna be pointed straight towards the 12th to 15th fret. For me, it's a really great run and gun to give you just an accurate representation of how this thing sounds. Now, there won't be any EQ added to this, maybe some level to just get it up to the appropriate levels, but overall, the ambition of my channel is to make sure that I accurately represent things, how guitars sound in the space. So let's hear this thing, and then we'll come back and we're gonna do a 3-question gear review, which is what is good about this guitar, what is bad about this guitar, because there are some things that are just kind of obnoxious, kind of annoying about this guitar. And then number 3, if you're in the market, if you're looking for an all solid wood guitar, is this the one that I think you should throw some money and time and effort, and that you should put your name, and that you should let this thing represent you in your records, in your music, in the situations that you find yourself musically representing who you are. Is this the right guitar for you to buy? So let's dig in. review this. What is good about this guitar? This guitar has many exceptional things going for it. Number one, it is all solid woods. Number two, it is a Martin. Number three, it is made in the US. Number four, it's really comfortable to play. Number five, what else can I come up with? It is feature rich, comes in a great gig bag. There are many, many really good things to say about this guitar. Some of the specs that are exceptionally good are the scale length, the body size. So let's talk about the scale length. It's a very comfortable guitar. It does not feel like a smaller body guitar, but because of the body shape that it is, it's more comfortable. I continue to find myself going more and more down the road of I will choose a grand concert or a triple O or a quad or an OM. I'll choose a smaller body size over a dreadnought. I mean, just look at the guitars that you see in the back of the frame here. Pretty much everything. Well, okay, this is a funny and weird one. You should watch the video on that. This is my boxwood. I freaking love that guitar. But this guitar, the other really good things about it are just the general quality of tone that comes out of this guitar. I mean, for $15.99, this guitar cannot be beat. That's another great thing about this, the price. Made in the US, made by Martin, really a professional guitar that'll last you forever, and is only $1,599. There's so much good to be said about this guitar. Now, with that, we should switch gears. Let's talk about what's bad about this guitar. Now, there are things that I think are really overly cheesy, over the top. I think number one, I mean, just the finish. Like, look at that. I mean, this is designer jean level. Not even designer. This is like Old Navy jeans that are just, it's cheesy. It's worn in a way that doesn't synthesize reality. And it's interesting because this guitar, there are so many 0017s, 0015s, 017s that are available. You can find them all over the place. I've owned a bunch. I've had a couple on the YouTube channel. Some of my first videos was like a 1937 0017, and that guitar was used on a shrimping boat all the time, and it didn't look worn in the way that this thing looks worn. And that's kind of my issue with relic guitars in general, and I love relics, and I've owned several, but if a real guitar showed up as beat up as relic guitars go, you would think that the owner of that was either like irresponsible for the guitar that they own or just derelict of responsibility for taking care of things that you own. So this is an expensive guitar, $1,599. And so if a guitar was that expensive and you let it get that beat up and worn out, I mean, I don't know. It feels irresponsible to me. So the wear on this guitar, the relicking, just how much that headstock is kind of worn down. I mean, it's funny. I'll show you a picture. I mean, I've been around guitars for 25 years. I've cared about them. I've owned thousands of guitars, and I have worn a lot of guitars out, but I've never like worn a guitar. I mean, this is just like someone sitting around with an orbital sander because somehow they hit every single edge on the headstock and just wore it out. It looks cheesy. I don't love it. And I can forgive it because this guitar sounds exceptional and it's still really great construction and still really light. But it's just little things that you can tell that this is just a template. They just wear certain things out, spray certain things different colors to make it look old. If it was properly relic, and the custom shop has done this, like you would get swirls on the headstock from someone using like a string winder. You would get swirls. You wouldn't get completely even wear all along the headstock. I think the headstock is the concentration of most of the cheesy stuff. But also, there's a worn spot here. Like, where would that come from in real use? Let's be honest, anyone that's owned a D15 from the early 2000s knows that you get a satin finish that then becomes like gloss on this top. That's one of the biggest reasons people would avoid buying a guitar, is that if you play it that much, you're gonna wear this to a polish and it's gonna look strange. So I don't mean to rag on this guitar. I did get this guitar in exchange for this review. Now, this should be an example of times in which, you know, Martin and Sweetwater, they are paying for my time. They are not paying for my opinion. But I think that this guitar, like, I love Martin guitars. If you know anything about me, like, there's a 67 D35, sorry, a 69 D35 right here. I absolutely love Martin guitars. when you really get down to it, this is a freaking exceptional guitar. Should you buy this guitar? I think that when you look at the guitars that are comparable in this same price range, this thing is not alone. There are plenty of other guitars in that price range, but I think that this has a warmth to the tone that is really wonderful. It has a playability that just isn't rivaled. Now, I wish that it's an 1 11/16 nut width. Most guitars being made now are 1 3/4. And so if you're a fingerstyle player, which I think that this guitar is going to attract that certain kind of, yeah, I mean, this is going to be somebody that's playing a lot of gigs, playing out, like, you know, if it's called the Streetmaster, I would bet this would be like an outdoor street kind of, you're playing out a bit. But also people playing in church. I would assume that this would be a fingerstyle-y kind of guitar, but with the nut width, it's just a little narrow. So this guitar, I mean, you're looking at Taylor has many options, Eastman has a ton of options, but to get that Venn diagram of a guitar that sounds good, that has good bass response, that is made in the US, that is all solid, that comes with a good setup, that comes with a gig bag, I think that when you get that Venn diagram worked out in your mind, I mean, this guitar does stand a bit alone. I think the tone of this is what pushes this guitar over for me, that it just sounds really exceptional. So should you buy this guitar? I think if you're in the market, if you're looking in that middle $1,500 range, like, I think that there's a strong case to make for this guitar. Now, there is one quick caveat. They also make a 0016 Streetmaster that has a spruce top, and I would be curious to try that. That guitar is probably going to lack some of the low end and bass that would come from a mahogany top, but it's still, I mean, it's got real strong, you know, cheesy, worn out blue jean vibes to it. It's kind of the same thing, but because it's not a dark top like a mahogany, they're also staining it. So it's, anyway, that one's got a higher cheese factor. If you can't get behind this guitar because of just the cheese factor, there are other options. There's still the regular 15 series, which is a freaking excellent guitar. I think that pound for pound, the absolute best value for Martin is the 0015 SM, which is the 12 fret version with a slot headstock. Boys and girls, it just sets me a quiver. Shouldn't have said that. Well, anyway, but overall, I think this guitar is super cool. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy. This is Guitar Hunter. This is a 0015 Streetmaster, and I love this guitar. If you are interested in this guitar, please look at the description down below. There will be a listing for this. This guitar will be for sale because I can't pay my family. I can't feed my family with guitars, but you can take care of my family by buying guitars. See you later. Bye.